Hey everybody, it's Randy with us again and 67 Chevelle, and that's the shop. And little surprise, currently I'm monetized, so this is my first official monetized video 2026. So way to start a new year. Anyway, what we're gonna get to today, not really sure. I'll tell you in a minute. Ready, set, go. No. Whoopsie. Gonna hurt. Okay, we're back. I think what we're going to work on is that again for the 470,000th time. Oh boy. In a short, I asked for some comments, and the comment was, is the tight gap normal on the Chevelle? Or is the wider gap that resembles the trunk gap all the way up the normal gap? And I got a response. One person said the left side, I believe. And a lot of the other people didn't really know, even though they worked on Chevelles. So I don't like this. Okay, I don't like the little tight gap and then the you know, the regular good gap. So we're gonna make it look like this gap. That is the more difficult way, of course, and why wouldn't it be? So I'm gonna show you what my idea is on that, and it's an expensive repair, maybe. Because my idea is the old panel that I took off, since I have to move this over, I'm going to have a gap on the back side. So I'm thinking I'll cut it off the other panel and put it in here. Because let's face it, the other panel is just scrap and might as well use it for something. So let me look in this a little bit, see exactly how I'm gonna tackle that. Yeah, a tackle, that's a new word. And be right back. All right, well, I was gonna show you how I was gonna tackle that little job, but a squirrel came running through the shop and I couldn't help myself. Anyway, I've been messing with gaps, not that one, but this one. I noticed in one of my videos, this line right here was off, which, you know, could, you know, still be right about there. So I got a piece of rubber up underneath to act as a rubber that would go, you know, the little rubber stops that go in there. And got that situated. Got this to where looking pretty good. All right, not down there, but right in here. Not there. Good there. Not there. You can see daylight, quite a bit of it. And then it tapers in and we're good up here. So this area is a little flat. We're kind of okay with it. You want to know why? Because we can't move it. It's welded to the back panel, so we can't just pop it up. You think, well, Randy, you just, you know, no. That's not how you do it, because I had all my neat little chisel hammers and stuff, and ones. Anyway, I had a red one, which is flat. I just made this one because, like I said, a squirrel. And so that one's curved. The other one's flat. I put it right here in that corner. Tried knocking that thing up, and I'm thinking, it is not moving. It's like I'm hitting a brick with this thing. And realized, well, it's welded in this corner. It's welded to that. So nothing's moving. So worked on this a little bit here, you know, a little closer. Okay, back to what we were doing. The gap, kind of like this one better. This all gets black. Won't even see this, but I'm really fixated on it because I'm trying to make it look good. So put this old chrome on, which is my old chrome. That lines up there. That's good. Lines up. I was just thinking about this little piece. And then there's a trunk piece. How's that gonna look right here? You know, that trunk tapers, but this is aftermarket. Is there a way, well, is there a way to get, but see, look at that. Isn't that garbage? That piece of trim, factory piece of trim, is way overlapped. So anyway, we just got to make everything fit. My thinking was, because I'm going this, not this direction, that direction. If I was going that direction, I could just fill the little tiny gap. But we're going the bigger gap. So what I do is cut this piece out somewhere in this area. Okay. Like so. Like so. Cut that out, make that fit there where I want it. I went through, like I said, line this up because I wanted everything the way it's gonna be for when this happens. And I'm still thinking back, you know, I just grind off of this and nobody would ever be the wiser except for me. That would be the easiest way to do it. Let's look at this one. Yeah, this has got to be ground. Well, not this. This is junk. You know, so I'm not worried as much as what that looks like because there'll be new ones and they're going to fit differently as well. So, do I go through the trouble of patching this side? See, it's not going to line up. What I'm looking at is the lining up of right here down. And this does not line up. This comes right in the middle of my gap. I don't like it. It's not good. You know, coming right on down. So you go over here, this edge goes right on down here. Okay, looks good. This edge goes right on down here. You know what I have to do, right? Cut this out, weld it in, make it fit. What was the better option in the beginning? Leave my quarter panels loose, fit my trunk lid, make my trunk lid fit my quarter panels, and then set in this rear body panel for the last and final time. But how do you do that? No, you could have done it. I could have put the extensions on. The extensions, centered everything in. But you know, I've had this once already. It changes all the time. And the only thing that holds it in is that bottom, well, and around the quarters now. Could have slid it back and forth. That would have been the proper way. Set your quarters, set your gap, and then set your rear body panel so this lines up. Make sure you don't have to wallow out any holes, which you probably would have to anyway, but maybe not as bad one direction or the other. I don't know. It's just, you know, you just got to make it fit. That's all you got to do. Okay? Okay, we're going to cut something, good or bad. So bear with me. All right, tail light extension is out. This little piece is cut. And I didn't take the, you know, the primer off of here because I just didn't. Because I wanted it to kind of look the same. I don't know why, it just didn't. So that's where that goes. It's perfect, right back in the same spot. Only it would be, you know, 22 gauge steel over that way. All right, we need to figure out what we're cutting and how to move it over. Now I went and cut that in the middle there, and that's not where I intended to cut that. I intended to cut that underneath here. So, do we do a patch just like, you know, we did there, and we've already messed that up a little, you know, messed that up? Or is there another way to do this? Can we put a slice in here? No, we can't, because that won't move that part over. Yeah, this will move this over, but it's gonna, instead of that go straight in, it's gonna go in like this, and that's not what we want. Okay, well, let's get this messed up little piece of patch on here. I may have to go cut the other piece off and add to this. Oh boy, more work. All right, well, we fixed our previous screw up and looks good. Okay, does it fit? Sure it does. Yeah, no problem. Well, fit better than that before, but anyway, it doesn't matter because we're gonna cut it all out. And I'm sure it moved a little and shrunk and goofy stuff, but we don't care. All right, we gotta figure out how we're gonna mount that thing. I think tape works okay. Sounds like the cat's out and about. You can always tell because the squirrels go crazy. I think it's cool. When you lose your cat, just listen to the squirrels. Okay, so where are we? All I'm looking for is an idea of where this fits, so I don't cut it in the wrong spot. Again, one thing about metal is you can always pretty well fix your mess ups. Okay. So we're gonna move it that way. So I'm gonna move it that way about so much. So I need to make sure, I'm just gonna cut out a little bit, but I need to make sure that I leave enough of this one because this is where the gap would end up. So this one I can cut right here on the edge because it's going that way anyhow. Well, let's get to doing something. Let's cut that out. And then we'll refit this again. And then we'll scribe it to the edge. And then we'll cut out some more. Okay, well, you're not where we want to be, of course. I need to get it to slide over some. And I put a piece of tape on both sides of this so I could put it right back exactly where it was. But you know. Anyway, I'm gonna work on that. I have to take it back off, recut this little spot right here because that makes me hang up some, which means I'm cutting the corner off of that so this slides over. So, be right back. Okay, well, I didn't have to cut this. All I did was knock this over some. Got some more gap. Okay, does that look the same as that? No, this one's bigger. This is what I'm looking at. See how this inner line follows down? It's almost there. Take this off, it's not quite so deceiving. And that one's straight down, like I talked about before. Okay. Takes a little more fitting. I mean, it's probably a 16th, and that's about it. All right, so take out the light. Dang, that's just a pain. I mean, they just move. You tighten, you get it where you want it. You tighten it, it moves. I guess, according to the tape, that's where it was. Okay. Now we have gappage. Too much, but we have it. Yeah, it looks fine. That is almost like a quarter of an inch. Okay, well, maybe it's not too much. This one's straight, quarter of an inch. This is not quarter of an inch, but you get the picture. It's pretty close to the same. You know, we clean some things up, like the edge of this, blah, 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 and that'll be fine. This will close up some because of body filler, primer, blah, you know. Well, so will that. But yeah, who cares? Anyway, this one, it's quarter inch here, tapers a little smaller here, but I see a little bowage in here. I can clean that up, make that a little straighter. It's okay. It's okay, as long as this is in the same place, which according to that tape is not, and I didn't like that up there either. Yeah. Where's the big hammer? You know, let's make sure it's where you want it, 'cause that's where it's going to be. Okay, that's it right there. Let's find a scribe. Okay. Because, you know, the impression here isn't perfect. Makes it a little deceiving. You know, at some point you just gotta say, all right, I'm done. Try to make it perfect with some body filler or something, I don't know. All right, well, I'm gonna cut that out, and I was just thinking, you know, do I just go in here, cut off wheel, flatten it out, get everything straightened up, tack it, do the same on the other side, or do I scribe it and cut it out and fit it and scribe it and fit it? I don't know. Let me think about that. Okay, we've got, I trimmed this side and I trimmed this and I trimmed this. Now, we've got an issue here because I didn't take this all the way down. You know, realistically I could have, because there's, well, I don't know if there is or not, spot weld right there. But I didn't want to, so I'd rather have more work and deal with that. So anyway, we're roughly fit in here. This isn't fitting because this is kind of sitting like that, so that pulls that away. Once this is where I want it, this will probably come into play. But right now I want to put the light back on again and figure out where it is. So I'm going to fight with that for 20 minutes and I'll be right back. Okay, there it sits. That's what that one looks like. Yeah, down here it gets a little funky, but keep in mind, chrome. There's that one sit. A little tighter here and up here than in here, and we'll clean that up. Looks a little corroded there. But actually, that's covered. So what really is seen, well, you know, the middle. And I'm getting so picky about it. All right, I'm gonna tack this little corner, I think this little corner. Then I'm gonna have to take the light back off and cut and manipulate, and you know what I'm saying. that's off for the 570th time. Okay, we're gonna cut that. Weld that in. Okay, before I final do this, make sure that fits, and that's not fitting. That's not coming in. I hoped. I think. All right. Problem is, this is too tight. Now it's not. Like that. Them apples. Now, things go where they're supposed to go. Okay, so we're okay. Would rather have a bigger gap, but you know, it's the way it is. And I could cut it, I guess. This is not fitting, lining up. This one did. This is not. I can't get it to push where I want it, so I may have to just tack that corner and then work this a little bit. Just have to work it around, see what we can get. Make sure that this is straight. Hard to do that with a booger weld on there, but hopefully we do that and we're good. Okay, making progress. You know, what you have to do with this stuff is usually have a bigger gap, or like this, or less, but not quite so tight. Like I said, this didn't measure up, was not flush, so I had to bend this top piece out till this became flush, tack it, then bend this piece back in, and then tack it. Same thing here, here, you know, you just work on around because this isn't flush. So we'll keep working it. Make sure the light fits. Be right back. Okay, that's tacked up. That could go over, well, not according to the tape, that's where it's supposed to be. Okay, there we go. That's the new gap. And check something. You know, when that's at an angle, it's deceiving. Looks a lot different. One's a little smaller. That's a little tighter right there. I don't know why. But thing is, we're, like I said, we can widen this up just a smidge. Oh man, this is so frustrating. The thing looks huge now. Why does it look huge? Why does it look like that? Chat. I mean, yeah, it doesn't look terrible. I mean, it's just, oh, that wasn't. Looking for a tape measure, and they're both right next to each other. Anyway, you know, things look a little different until you get it tacked down. That's why I wanted to leave that black, so it looked the same. Can I measure this? No. Okay. That is roughly a quarter. That's roughly a quarter. I'm going from the peak of this right here. So it's roughly there. This throws it off quite a lot. We've measured this before. This is too tight, this is bigger, this is not so tight, that is not a quarter. That would be a quarter, right over to here. How do I go from making it really tight to bigger than that? I don't know. Let me see where we are. That seems fine, that seems fine. Could go in. That's a little loose right there. So I could go over some according to this, which is not a bad thing. Well, I'm going to do some adjusting and playing around, and I will be back. So the boss is back. Yeah? We're getting close to dinner time? Okay, I'll see you in a minute. Okay, so as you can see, I threw the chrome pieces on. I adjusted the deck lid because some reason it moved this way or something. And no kidding, all I did was the striker that's on the trunk, I tapped it no harder than that, and it moved it. Pretty flimsy stuff. Anyway, it's tighter than it was. That side right here was this side. This one was actually tighter. But I mean, we're talking fractions here. I mean, I can fight that for the next 40 years, which I've been doing that here lately. So back to the task at hand, this. Okay. It's tacked in. Is that what we want? So we leave it. I mean, I can If I don't like it, I can fill it. I can make them match perfectly. So at least we don't have a really tight gap that we can't work with. A little bigger gap we can work with. So let's see where this ends up. This ends up, that feels good, that feels good. So, no, looks all right. I'm just looking. So this like tapers in some right here, which we knew that. It's real tight right there. But we're gonna fix that, because we're gonna end up taking that little corner off right there. We're gonna make that thing go right on down. That's what we're gonna do. I'm sure that, yeah, that was supposed to taper in and fit nicely. But, well, as you can see. But anyway, I'm tired of fighting with it. So what I'm gonna do is we're gonna leave her there, and I'm gonna weld that up, make her all pretty and everything. And like I said, mess with it a little bit more. And we'll be back. Alrighty then. Well, it's ground off. It's, you know, a little funky here, but again, none of that shows. None of that shows. So, well, actually the molding and then the trunk molding, this shows. So I wanted that decent. And here won't show, but it's decent. So this panel's good, feels good. All right, I'm gonna spray a little blue ink on there so it doesn't rust, and I'm gonna put the light back in. And blue ink is just kind of a temporary thing that I do, said, so it doesn't rust. And this thing's turning into a bobblehead. Saw some daylight down there. So now, looks like crap. But anyway, let's put the light in and go from there. Okay. Getting quicker at it. Holy cow. Now it looks monstrous. We got to get that black back to black so it doesn't look so bad. Looks huge. Looks a little tighter up here than it does down here. Yeah. Anyway, like I said, I can mess with that for 20 minutes. So, let's check this gap. It's tight. So that could actually move over. Anyway, like I said, we can mess with that for 20 minutes, but we've got a wider gap. We've got something we can work with. We can make them both match now. And I can move on to something else. And probably more gaps, like door gaps on that side, or, you know, putting on a roof skin even. So let's end this video right where we are, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.